Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into a really challenging idea, a really provocative one, from a classic text. We're going to explore what it really means to be separate from the world's way of thinking through a title that's designed to shock you, The Filth of the World.
Okay, so let's just jump right in where the source material does, with a question that's meant to grab you. Really think about this for a second. What is the absolute worst, most repulsive thing you can imagine? So the author just throws this phrase at us, the filth of this world, and he immediately makes us wonder, what are we even talking about here? Is it some kind of, a tribe of evil spirits? It really forces you to check your own ideas about what's truly disgusting. Could it be, organized crime? The kind of stuff you see in the headlines, that deep, dark corruption that's just always lurking under the surface of society.
Or maybe it's even bigger than that. What about international chaos? You know, that evil genius that seems to be pulling the strings on a global scale, causing all the conflict between countries?
Okay, well, what about sin itself? That's the root of all these other problems, right? Surely that has to be the ultimate filth we're talking about. It makes sense.
But here's the twist. The text says, nope, you could guess 1,000 times and you'd still be wrong, because the real answer, it completely flips everything you'd expect on its head.
Yeah, this is where it gets wild. We're told that this so-called filth, it isn't evil at all. In fact, it's something good. Not just good, but the very best. It's not from Satan, it's from God. It's not just some random churchgoer, it's the saintliest of saints. What is going on?
And then, bam, here's the reveal. It comes straight from the Apostle Paul, writing to the church in Corinth. He says, "We apostles are the filth of this world." Whoa. He's calling himself and his friends this incredibly degrading thing. So what on earth is he talking about?
And that really gets us to the core of this whole thing, right? What kind of mindset do you have to have, what worldview, where you not only accept a label like that, but you actually declare it for yourself?
Well, this apostolic attitude, as it's called, is basically a state of radical detachment. It means you've completely unplugged from how the world measures success and value and honor. And look, this isn't about hating yourself. It's about totally rewiring your brain about what actually matters.
And when you adopt that mindset, it brings this incredible kind of freedom. And just think about it for a second. If you don't have any big ambitions, well, there's nothing to be jealous of. If you're not worried about your reputation, there's nothing to fight over. No possessions, nothing to stress about losing. And if you're not clinging to your rights, then nobody can really truly wrong you.
And that all leads to this ultimate, kind of mind-blowing conclusion. If you've already willingly let go of everything the world values, your reputation, your comfort, even your own life, what power does the world have over you? None. You're basically already dead to all its threats and all its promises.
And you have to remember, for the Apostle Paul, this wasn't just some neat philosophical idea. This was his actual life. Think about the stonings, the shipwrecks, the beatings. He went through all that intense suffering because he had totally let go of the world's #1 rule, self-preservation.
Now, to really drive this point home, Paul sets up this incredible contrast between his group, the apostles, and the church he was writing to in Corinth.
Just look at this side by side. On one hand, you got the Corinthians. They see themselves as full, rich, reigning as kings, the successful merchant princes of their day. Then you look at the apostles. They're fools, they're despised, they're hungry, naked, a public spectacle. It's just two completely opposite ways of looking at the world.
And this is really the core of what's called the apostolic economy. It's a total paradox, right? The fact that they were materially and socially bankrupt was the exact thing that made it possible for them to make so many other people spiritually rich. They were just playing a completely different game with a different set of rules.
And here's the really tragic irony for the Corinthians. They had it all. Everything the world says you should want. The wealth, the status, the comfort. But those very things, they became their chains. It's like the author says, a man escaped from his cell is not free who still drags his chain. All that stuff they had actually created a weakness of soul.
Okay, so now the text takes this ancient story, this ancient contrast, and just drops it right in our laps today. It becomes a direct challenge for us. How does this whole tension play out in our lives?
And here's the really provocative claim for today. The argument is that this kind of radical separation from the world's values, you just don't see it much anymore. Instead, we have this deep respect for the world's opinions, its qualifications. We want to fit in. We don't want to be seen as, filth.
The ideal that's presented here is this:
line of demarcation from the world that's so clear you can't miss it. It's supposed to be distinct, deliberate, and discrediting. And that last word is everything, discrediting. That means living in a way that's so countercultural it literally disqualifies you from playing the world's status games.
And that brings us to the final, really searching question. If you look at every part of your life, how you dress, how you talk, what you're interested in, what you truly value, how different are you, really, from the culture all around you? The source isn't just asking us to be a little different. It's challenging us to actually embrace being seen as filth by the world's standards. And that is a radical call to redefine everything we think has value.